Off we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Spalding County State Court. My name is Josh Thacker. I'm your judge, and this is the bonded trials calendar call. I want to start out by saying that here in the Spalding County State Court, we believe that each of you deserve the respect and dignity that you would wish for someone you care about. We will extend that to each and every one of you as we interact with you all here today. COVID-19 has simply come down to a philosophy for us that has served us well, and so here it is. It's very important to us that you feel personally safe when you're interacting with us. So what does that mean? If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you wish you brought a mask and you don't have one, ask us for one. We've got plenty. If you need additional social distancing, let us know. Whatever it is that you need, let us know, and that has served us very well. Okay. Let's see. Virtual attendance is allowed with permission. We have one virtual attendance today. Courtroom was clean this morning. We do live stream. We're actually testing out YouTube, and I'm on YouTube this morning. So if anybody has any feedback on that, let me know. If you need, whatever you need, speak with the bailiffs. All right, don't talk during court. Our goal is to get you all back to your lives as quick as we can. I can't do that if y'all are having sidebar conversations, and frankly, I won't have much patience for it. All right, virtual, whoever that is Dreama Chambly. Go get a pen and a piece of paper, Ms. Chambly, to write down information I'm gonna give you about your case, and shut your camera off while you're waiting. I'll get you to turn it back on when I need to speak with you. All right.
I think she's a probation case for tomorrow.
She is? I don't know.
I believe so.
Oh, she is. She's yours. Well, she was yours. She may not be yours for tomorrow.
She's not, it's not tomorrow.
I'll talk to you. All right, everybody right now, reach into those pockets and purses, wherever you stash that cell phone, pull it out and absolutely make certain it is off at this point. What's gonna happen next is, in just a little bit, somebody's phone's gonna ring, and what that's gonna tell me is you totally ignored my instructions that I just gave you, and you're volunteering for a contempt hearing. Don't be that person volunteering for a contempt hearing. Turn your phone off and let us get you back to your lives as quick as we can. All right, there's a lot of court going on in this building today. So if you're in this courtroom, you were arrested for a misdemeanor here in Spalding County, you appeared or waived your arraignment date, or your attorney did so on your behalf, and you requested a trial. If what I'm saying does not sound correct, there's a bailiff out in the hallway. Step out there, speak to them, show them your paperwork, and they will make certain that you get to where you're supposed to be. Today is what's called your calendar call. I'm going to go over your rights with you and tell you what your options are, and then you or your attorney is going to tell me what to do with your case. You may have a trial, and there are two types of trials. There's a jury trial, where 6 jurors issue a verdict on your case from that box over there to your left, and then there's a bench trial where I issue a verdict without a jury. You may have a conference with the solicitor's office if you're representing yourself, and your attorneys will certainly announce conference on your behalf. And you can ask me about getting an attorney, and we'll have that discussion. All right, Ms. Karen is here from our Veterans and Mental Health Court. So if you are a member of our military, or you are a military veteran, or you have a mental health diagnosis, and you want your case dismissed, you may be a candidate for our Veterans and Mental Health Court. We also call this our accountability court. If you're representing yourself, then you can either ask for a conference with the solicitor's office, or just speak with Ms. Karen at the first break. They can explain the program and see if you are a candidate. If you have an attorney, simply speak with your attorneys. They're very familiar with the program, and they can answer any questions you may have. All charges in this courtroom are misdemeanors. The average misdemeanor carries a maximum punishment of 12 months to serve in the Spalding County Jail and or a $1,000 fine. A few minor traffic charges like seatbelt have a lower maximum fine, and a few high and aggravated misdemeanors have a $5,000 maximum fine. Now, each of you here in this courtroom have the right to a speedy and public jury trial, where 6 citizens of Spalding County decide guilt or innocence on your charges. You can also choose a bench trial. That's where I decide guilt or innocence without a jury. You can waive your right to a trial and close your case with a plea. Now, I have no preference. You must knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently choose for yourself. You have the right to be presumed innocent, to force the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, to cross-examine the state's witnesses, to subpoena your own witnesses and evidence to court. You have the right to testify or not testify, and you have the right not to incriminate yourself. If you choose to remain silent, your silence cannot be held against you. You still have the right to have an attorney. You may hire your own, and there's private attorneys here you can talk to. However, if you cannot afford an attorney, then you should have applied on your arraignment date, like I asked you to, with the Public Defender's Office. Now, I warned you at your arraignment that if you did not take prompt action to apply with the Public Defender's Office, you would very likely waive the right to apply for their services. Now, an attorney would help you understand our criminal justice system, would explain your charges and what the defenses are to those charges, file motions on your behalf, engage in plea negotiations, subpoena witnesses and evidence for your defense, conduct a trial on your behalf and make objections, protect your record, appeal a conviction, and otherwise work to protect you. All right, first offender conditional discharge. These each allow you to enter a guilty plea without being convicted, but you only get one of each for your entire life. First offender is for everything but traffic-related charges, so no DUIs, and conditional discharge is for drug-related charges only. All right, nolo contendere and traffic charges. We call this a nolo plea for short. It's where you enter a guilty plea without admitting guilt, and it is available on most traffic charges. Again, no DUIs. You get one nolo every 5 years, and that is measured from the instant date to the instant date. A nolo will usually prevent points. It'll usually save your license. It won't help you much if you're under 21. All right, if you choose to enter a plea today, you may receive probation. 100% of all fines in the Spalding County State Court can be worked off with community service work at a rate of $10 per hour. Additionally, there is a $50 per month supervision fee each month until you complete your probation. This supervision fee is mandatory, but can be waived after a separate hearing before me. If you're here today and you are not a U.S. citizen, you need to know that any conviction will very likely have a negative impact on your immigration status. All right, several of you are charged with family violence charges. You need to know that if you are convicted of those family violence charges, you will lose any Georgia weapons carry permit. And federal law will step in and say that you may never again possess a firearm or ammunition. All right, habeas corpus, weird old law that I'm responsible for explaining to you, and here's my explanation. If you're convicted of these charges, you may sue Spalding County civilly over in Superior Court to challenge your conviction. All traffic charges have a 6-month window. Everything else in this courtroom has a 12-month window to use those rights before they expire. Now, you may conference this morning with the solicitor's office. Again, that's this group up here to your left. And if that's what you wish to do, and if you're representing yourself, you'll announce conference. The solicitor's office represents the state of Georgia. They are not your attorney. If you reach an agreement, you may resolve your case today. If you do not reach an agreement, then you must return to this courtroom for me to personally give you your next set of instructions, which will include signing your verdict form. But again, the attorneys don't need to do that. They just gotta get with the solicitor's office. They can sign the verdict form and pass it along to the solicitor directly. All right, this is a 2-week trial calendar. Here's how this is working. All the bench trials and jury trials are together on this trial calendar. This is week 1 with calendar call and us getting sorted out. Then y'all are gonna skip a week. We're gonna do some other court. And then week 2 will begin with jury trials and bench trials on Monday at 9 a.m. of week 2, which would be March 27th. We will use 2 or 3 courtrooms in that week, and we will reach your case for trial. Now, we are a smaller community, so if you want to help your friends and family, you should, because bench warrants will be issued for defendants who failed to appear this morning. If you know someone who is absent, call them, tell them to get down here in person ASAP. You'll very likely save them a great deal of future trouble. All right, attorneys, you must let me know if there are any pretrial motions, speedy trial demands, or anything else that I need to factor into the scheduling of your case for trial. Failure to get this information to me or a bench warrant will automatically waive pretrial matters. All pretrial matters here in this court must be heard at the first scheduled calendar or they are waived unless I specifically preserve them on the record in open court. All right, this is important. If you tell me this morning that you want a jury trial or a bench trial, what you are telling me is you do not want a conference, you do not want an attorney, you do not want a continuance, you do not want a negotiated plea, you do not have any motions that need to be heard, and you are ready to pick your jury because this is your last chance to explore those options. I have zero intentions of doing anything other than picking a jury when that jury shows up outside of those double doors for your trial and we're ready to go. All right, calendar call. So what's going to happen is I'm about to call your name. When you hear your name called, stand up. If you're represented by an attorney, that's all you need to do. Let them announce for you, and then I'll wait for you to sit down. If you are representing yourself, then you're going to announce very loudly one of the following. So jury trial, or bench trial, or conference, or attorney. And are there any motions? Okay. All right, Jeffrey Clay. All right, thank you, Mr. Clay. All right. Cross your fingers. Alyssa Cook? No.
So
Okay.
Judge, last we heard, in late February, she was released from the jail and, to the hospital, but
Yes,
she was noticed to be here today.
she was. I was part of that conversation, and it was an urgent situation. My plan was, if she didn't show up today, issue the bench warrant, no bond forfeiture, and then the jail will notify us as soon as we get there, and we will literally just put her on literally the next one, because have y'all had a chance to have a conference on her cases?
I don't think so, Judge.
I was gonna ask you.
We've talked about a lot of them, but I don't remember who.
And I was, when she had a jail arraignment day, it was a bench warrant.
We have old recommendations in here.
If I ask nicely, would y'all go ahead and have your conference so that when she gets picked up, I could just put her on the next calendar, like even if it's like a German Allen where he gets picked up on Monday and we just.
We do have old recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah, that we
Okay.
can work from there.
Okay, I just went, as soon as the goal is for her to get picked up and seen very quickly. So, all right, well then that is a warrant with no bond forfeiture. Because I know where she is, she's up in, well, I should know where she is, she got sent north to one of the jails in the metro Atlanta.
Yeah, I had something from, Kip about that, actually.
Yes, so it's a warrant with no bond forfeiture. All right, over to you, Mr. Hudson. Meredith Crosby.
Your Honor, won't announce conference on that.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Thank you, Mr. Hudson.
Judge.
All right,
Cobb County Judge.
Cobb. Okay. So as soon as we get her back, that's what we'll,
Or they could just.
all right, Eric Freeman.
Judge, I spoke with Mr. Howell on that one. This one has been continued a couple times. Mr. Freeman is in inpatient treatment,
Okay,
and Mr. Howell's gonna come sign a reset for May. He should have completed his, I can't remember how many months it was by then.
okay. Reset to May. Okay. Jamonte Henley.
Conference, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Henley. Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right, I think Jeff PB6 is in jail.
He'll be this afternoon, Judge.
He's on the rank calendar for this afternoon.
It's in jail.
Yeah, I think he was the only one on this calendar that was.
Oh, okay, good. Justin Hoffman. Good morning.
One second.
What do you want to do?
For the plea?
Okay,
No, no,
I'm gonna put you down for a conference. I need a recommendation from the solicitor on your case. Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Chandler Hogan. Can anybody tell me why that name is familiar to me?
That was Mr. DeBro's case, Judge. He filed a motion to withdraw. He had just been saying he was just retained for the bond issue.
That's it, and I did grant it at the last one.
Yes.
Coming back to me.
And then this case was, it was on our last trial count, maybe January. It was reset to this one because Mr. Hogan wanted to get another attorney. He showed up last Thursday morning when we were doing probation hearings, and I just told him to be back this morning because that was the day he was scheduled to be here. So we'll ask for a bond forfeiture and a bench warrant, and that's his second.
Well, that is granted. All right, back to you, Mr. Malloy. David Key. Perfect, thank you, Mr. Key.
Conference, Your Honor.
All right. Patrick Leaks. What do you want to do now? That's yours.
Conference. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Good enough. Got it. Conferences. Thank you, Mr. Leaks. All right, Robert Ludlam. Robert Ludlam.
So,
Do you have a motion?
yeah, we'll ask for a bond forfeiture and a bench warrant on all these.
I just
Were
checked.
you asking to leave the jail doors locked? Please?
It's gonna be marked as a do not
I
resist.
checked it again, he's still.
I mean, he's got bench warrants,
I
probation
still don't know how
warrants.
he got out. I just need to say that out loud.
I'll research that for you, I get that.
Um, D.L. Phillips. Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Conference, Your Honor.
Conference it is. David Thomas. Mr. Bowles. I didn't see Mr. Bowles this morning. Sit tight, let me see. That's all right. He's due here regularly. We'll figure out what's going on. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down for a conference.
I know Mr. Moody was in trial in an ag assault case.
But I think that one ended.
Yeah, that was the mistrial.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a mistrial with fireworks.
Yeah, so anyway, Mr. Bowles comes through here regularly. I got some sort of email from him. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. If you want to step out and call their office and see what his estimated time of arrival is, that would be helpful.
Thank you.
All right, Thomas, Lee Wright with Mr. Dutton.
Monday.
That was all on Monday.
Okay.
So that's closed?
Yes, right's closed.
He came in. Got it. All right, now, raise your hand if you were represented by Mr. Hutchison and I did not call your name. I didn't call your name and you're represented by Mr. Hutchison. Great, you're in hand.
Yeah, well, that's-
Anybody else? Neither of us?
one.
Okay,
Vanderford, is that the other one?
Yes, sir.
okay. All right, now, are there any witnesses out here who've been subpoenaed by the state to be here? All right. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Melissa Craig,
All right. Which case are you on?
David Key.
No, she's,
Okay. And you're just here as a witness?
she's the victim.
Okay. Mr. Shepherd will give you directions in just a moment. All right. Anybody? Now, are there any defendants whose names were not called? Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Miss Purdue, Chelsea Purdue,
Oh, that's right. You came in late yesterday and we brought you back this morning.
Conference.
I've not made a decision on the warrant. I'm just gonna let her sit out there. Not out there.
Who was that?
Sorry. This is Miss Purdue. What I was gonna do is have Miss Purdue come sit up here. Miss Purdue, come sit up here in the jury box. I've got to research why I've got a second warrant. I also understand you have some sort of medical letter you want to provide. So go have a seat in the jury box. Give that letter to Deputy Piper or one of the bailiffs. But you are not free to go until I give you other directions, okay? All right, so go grab a seat in the jury box, ma'am. I also need to let everybody know that German Allen got picked up yesterday. I think you all know that,
Yes,
but I've asked Erica to add it to today's out-on calendar so that we can see him.
do a little extra stage for it, go to the jail.
I know, so,
When you do that, let me know, we'll come join.
yeah, so, all right. Are there anybody else out there who needs their case addressed and I didn't call it? All right, Mr. Shepherd, the floor is yours.
Your Honor, there should be one of our clients from yesterday's calendar who called our office is going on her way here now, so when she shows up, it's Leandra Lemons from yesterday's calendar.
Okay.
She was told by me directly, go ahead and come on in today.
Here she is, bottom of page 1. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna just put that one down as a conference, and I'll just make a decision on the warrant when she gets here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And again, when you all catch a moment, I would like to talk to Mr. Shepherd and Mr. Hutchison. When y'all have a minute on the Casal case from yesterday, fill Mr. Hutchison in, and I'd like to get y'all's opinion. I have a very rough draft of what I was thinking. And I would really like y'all's opinion on that before I make my final go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so y'all tell me when y'all are ready on that. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Shepherd.
All right, thanks, Judge. All right, Ms. Craig here, when we take a break in a minute, just make sure Ms. Fletcher over here, my investigator, make sure she's got a good phone number for you, and we can cut you loose for this morning. Everybody else, by the way, I'm Patrick Shepherd, I'm the solicitor, and he's the prosecutor. This is Kevin Parker, he's the other solicitor. There's a couple of you who do not have an attorney who have asked for a conference. If that's you, just wait until your name is called by Ms. Middleton here in the white sweater. Ms. Middleton calls your name, you're gonna follow her down this hallway, through these double doors, and then to my right, your left, then down the hallway, to right outside of my office, just have a seat there, and either myself or Mr. Parker will call you back. The rest of you that are represented by an attorney, we can't meet with you directly, we'll meet with your attorneys, and we'll begin doing that here in just a few minutes. So for the rest of the morning, just follow your attorney's instructions. There's obviously more of y'all than there are of us, but we move quick, we'll have everybody out here reasonable hour today. All right, thank you.
Mr. Warren?
My name is Terrence Malloy, I represent the Judas firm, public defender here in the courtroom today. For those of you who have already signed this board, you can see I've got your folders here. I have never seen your file to give you an update on where your case is. So when the judge takes the break, please be present. So when I call your name, you're here, we can talk about where we are with the case.
But it was,
Oh, yeah, I do.
just like you.
All right, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down and state your full name.
Justin Hoffman?
All right, Mr. Hoffman, we looked at your cases over the break, and it looks like there's actually a second case pending
Yeah.
with me, and then another felony pending upstairs.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
3 altogether?
Yeah, I haven't been called for the, I've been waiting for the mail for the felony one, I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, you haven't gotten it because there's nothing set.
Okay,
So-
all right, that's fine, that's good to know.
But you were arrested on the felony, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. It's just, there's a weird note in there that didn't make any sense to me, so,
Yeah, it was a complicated scenario, so, yeah.
well, that's fine. Something's up, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, here's what we're gonna do. The case that's not on the calendar is 23 SR 350.
Is that the one for the criminal trespass, sir?
Yes.
Okay,
So I need both of these cases to appear together on the calendar, and I can't simply add that one to this one. And so here's what I'm going to do.
could I ask you a question, sir?
You can?
The criminal trespass, I might be wrong, I was told when I was in jail that they were bogus charges and they will be dropped most likely because.
Okay, you are wrong. They're not been dropped.
Okay.
They're pending.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't mean they won't be dismissed at some point.
Okay,
I don't know.
yes, sir.
But whoever told you that they were going to be dismissed
Yes.
was greatly mistaken.
Yes, sir.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to arraign, today is officially your arraignment date for the
Okay.
new charge. I can add that, and I am adding that. So on 23 SR 0350, you were on time for court this morning, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You heard all the rights are read out to the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
Well, your arraignment day would be those same rights that I would read out, except for arraignments.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, I'm calling this your arraignment day. And I'm moving 22 SR 640, which is the one on this calendar,
Okay.
and 23 SR 350 to the same calendar because I can't do anything until they're, well, I can, but it's easier if they're all in the same universe.
Yes, sir.
The felony is not me. I'm not a felony judge.
Yep.
You'll get whatever notice, make certain that you keep the clerk updated.
Yes, sir.
And while we were off record, I did confirm your birth date and your social security number and your driver's license because there were some discrepancies in our system on that.
Okay.
It is your responsibility to speak with Ms. Porter before you leave and follow whatever directions she gives you.
Yes, sir.
Do so ASAP.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, well then, we're gonna go off record. You're gonna step over to Ms. Porter. Mr. Richards also has several papers for you to sign, and then go from there.
Right here, sir.
Wherever James tells you to go.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, he just chatted. Oh, let me see if I can talk.
Okay, you know what, that works too. I know it's crazy, 1:30, never been here.
And he is not represented by the felony defender's office on that felony. And so I'm sure Chastity explained that he needs to go fill out an application with the felony defender's office as well. So, all right, Tracy McMurray, come on up. Yes. All right, Mr. McMurray, step up to the podium, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Tracy Lee McMurray.
Born in 66, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have other cases pending with me?
No, sir.
Okay, that's correct? I just thought I saw something with Virgil Brown's office with your name, but I must have been mistaken. Okay, Mr. McMurray, you are not on this calendar, but you walked in a couple of days ago. And it's my understanding you wish to resolve your case and have me lift your warrant. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so your case is 22 TK 3294. You are on time for court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No, sir.
Mr. McMurray, you passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir, I do.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have the right to have an attorney?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, that you're doing so without an attorney, is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. McMurray, you're asking me to take a no-low plea. Have you used a no-low plea on a moving violation in the last, have you used a no-low plea on a driving without a valid license in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
And you're asking me to accept it for driving that occurred here in Spalding County on August 2nd, 2022, and results in this charge of driving without a valid license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna find that your request, with your admission of guilt, I'm gonna find that your request for a no-low is proper and I'm gonna grant it. I'm gonna find that you are knowingly, freely, and voluntarily waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions before I sentence?
No, sir.
Let me check something really quick.
You wanna go back?
When you received these citations originally, were you arrested
Yes, sir.
and you were taken to the jail?
Yes, sir.
See, that's what's got me confused, is it's got your signature on here, but then it says license displayed in lieu of bail, no. So they both took you to jail and had you sign your tickets?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's fine, I can live with that. All right, any questions before I sentence?
No, sir. My license was suspended, for my child support. I didn't know, but I've resolved that, you know, I've taken care of all that.
And you have your license
Yes,
back
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am gonna have you show your valid license to probation, but you can just do that when you get back there to talk to me. All right, you ready?
Yes,
Here we go. Tracy McMurray, 22 TK 3294, count 3, driving without a valid license. Your no-low is granted. It's 12 months probation, $300 is your fine. Counts 1 and 2 are dismissed. You may work off your fine with community service work. There will be a $50 per month supervision fee. You're to show your valid license to probation. No alcohol, illegal drug, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver. And the moment you have satisfied your obligations to the court, your case will terminate. So you're only on probation as long as it takes you to check all your boxes, okay?
yes, sir.
John, I think he told Mr. Parker he could pay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is one of the two, this is what I was
You gotta go
checking.
in. Oh,
This
yes.
is one of the two, there's only 2 driving charges that are in the standard section that I have to put you on probation for, and this is one of the 2. That's what I was checking. And so you will get to pay it, but you'll have to pay it to probation. But I have to put you on probation for at least 1 day, and
Yes,
by the time you get it closed, 1 day will pass.
Yes, sir.
So,
And I explained to him, Judge, that I did structure it so that as soon as he paid it, it would terminate.
yeah, you're gonna be fine. So you're not gonna, no, they're not gonna keep you forever. So, all right, any questions?
No, sir.
Your warrant's lifted, go pay your money, show them your license, and they'll work on closing your case.
Thank you, sir.
Go fill those doors.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Purdue? All right, Ms. Purdue, if you will please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Chelsea Purdue.
Ms. Purdue, you're on yesterday's calendar, and I think it was yesterday's.
Yes,
Yes. And issued a warrant, but you came in and have negotiated this plea that you want me to take, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Ms. Purdue, were you on time this morning?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No, sir.
Ms. Purdue, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything on this document?
No, sir.
Ms. Purdue, you have the right to have an attorney represent you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you are here today representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Purdue, do you also understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else before I pivot to the facts of your case that I can answer for you?
No, sir.
Ms. Purdue, you are charged with 1 count of DUI per se, and what that means is the allegation is that you did here in Spalding County on September 18th of 2020 unlawfully drive a moving vehicle while your blood alcohol concentration was 0.08 grams or more, and this was within 3 hours after your operating your vehicle, and this was all from alcohol that you consumed before your driving ended. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna find with your admission of guilt, this DUI per se, which is count 2, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm gonna find that you are knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Any questions for me about anything?
No, sir.
Was this a blood test or what was this?
I had the blue.
Okay, so it's breath test. Okay. All right, anything else?
No, sir.
You ready for me to sentence?
Yes, sir.
Chelsea Purdue, 21 SR 2310, count 2, DUI per se. I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 1781.25 is your fine. Count 1 merges into count 2, and that's all of your counts. That's a total of 12 months probation. You are to obtain your Georgia driver's license within 9 months. You'll be able to get it back a lot quicker, I expect. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products. You'll be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver for searches and seizures. $50 per month supervision fee each month that you're on probation. You are to complete 40 hours of community service work at a rate of no less than 6 hours per week. Substance abuse evaluation within 90 days, and DUI school within 60 days. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you want to use your habeas rights. Do you remember me talking about habeas earlier?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember reading about it on the back of the right sheet, right there where I'm pointing?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me of any type before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
And Ms. Purdue, then that's all there is for us. I'm going to pass you, the warrant is lifted. I'm passing you off to Ms. Williams. He's going to walk you back, have you go meet with probation.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very
very
much,
much.
there one right there. We just signed it.
Miss Chambly, are you there?
Yes.
All right, Miss Chambly, I was trying to figure out where you fit. I didn't see you on my calendar today. Can you tell me what you're looking for?
Mr. Key?
Um, Miss Rodriguez, my probation officer, is supposed to be there. You put me on probation like 2 years ago,
Okay.
and
I think you're on tomorrow's calendar for that. I don't see you on today's calendar. Let me check.
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at you on tomorrow's probation. Today's not probation calendar. Tomorrow's the probation calendar. And I see you on that calendar for 19 SR 1574.
Right.
So
Okay.
you're a day early.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, that's her. All right, she's out. Um, since we got a little bit of downtime, I'm going to say that y'all's folks that are about to enter, please, let's have them go ahead and grab. I only have one probation acknowledgement form left. But let's grab a couple from Ashley and go ahead and get these folks to fill out. So, James, if y'all don't mind. Oh, you got it, right? Okay. So, Clay, where are you? Bailiff's about to give you a clipboard with something that we normally fill out after the plea. But since we got a minute, Mr. Malloy is running 600 miles an hour. I'm gonna try to streamline this just a little bit. So, so far I only have Mr. Clay, but as they bring them in, if we'll just have them fill those out, and that'll streamline the process afterwards. Since I got a minute, with Harry out, I can't do both at the same time. So, all right, where are you? If you need to sit down, we can give you one of those seats at one of the tables either way. You just let me know if you need that, okay? All right. You just stand there. You don't have to raise your right hand. I'm just going to place you under oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Say your full name for me.
Jeffrey Riddell, Clay Senior.
All right, Mr. Clay, you're here on 21 SR 2576. Mr. Clay, according to my calendar, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
I did, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No.
Your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the rights that I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is this your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to review it
Yes.
and to ask your attorney any questions you have about it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything on this document?
No.
Have you had all the time that you need to speak with your attorney about everything about your case?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the job Mr. Malloy has done on your behalf?
Very much so.
Do you understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
It is, yes.
All right. Do you have any other questions for me? Oh, have you used a no-low on a no insurance in the last 5 years?
I believe I have, yes, sir.
Okay,
Well, when we checked his driving history, for a suspended license, he had used one.
okay.
So that's why I'll be guilty to suspended license, but there didn't appear to be one on the no insurance.
I'm with you. If you're even remotely unsure, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yes, sir.
So if you want me to give it a shot, I will. If DDS doesn't find it's there, then they'll take it in the way they take it in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then I'll give it a shot.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Mr. Malloy, on the suspended license, do you stipulate that there is a sufficient factual basis for me to accept that guilty plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the no insurance, is there enough factual basis for me to accept the no-low plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Clay, do you want to enter a guilty plea to that suspended license charge
Yes.
and a no-low plea on the no insurance?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna find that that is proper. I'm gonna find that you are, with your admission of guilt is to count 2, that there's enough for me to take your plea and that your request for a no-low on count 3 is proper, and I'm gonna grant it with the little caveat there that if DDS finds that you did use the no insurance no-low in the last 5 years, when they accept it in, they'll just accept it as a guilty plea and we'll just keep going, okay?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Malloy, anything you wish to add before I sentence?
Just a couple things, Your Honor. As you can tell, Mr. Clay is with the cane because he's had some recent health problems, suffering from a stroke, which he's recovering from, and a couple heart attacks.
Yes, sir.
So he's in the rehab recovery mode from those things. And I say that to say that one of the conditions was he's to surrender his license. Well, he doesn't have a license right now, Judge, and the suspension won't really affect him because he's not driving anyway.
Okay.
And the second thing is that Mr. Clay lives in Valdosta, so that's why it's going to be phone reporting upon orientation because of the length of the distance from where he'd be coming from to report to JAG.
Got it. Okay, that is fine. That all sounds very reasonable, and I'm happy to grant those things.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Clay, any questions before sentence?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Jeffrey Clay, 21 SR 2576. Count 1, suspended license, guilty. 12 months, $449.50 is your fine. Count 3, no insurance. Your no-low is granted. That's 12 months. Concurrent, $449.50 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work. There'll be a $50 per month supervision fee. Counts 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be dismissed as a result of this plea. You would have no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products. You'll be tested for those. You'll find a local testing center down there. They'll walk you through that process. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 supervision fee. You're to pay $50 in restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. You may go to phone report after orientation, and you shall surrender your license. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. And when you surrender your license, it's to DDS. So,
Your Honor, he indicated he doesn't even have a license, he only has an ID.
yeah, so like if you've already surrendered it, then all you gotta do is just get a report from DDS that says that you don't have a license. So probation can walk you through that. It's super easy.
Okay.
So, I'll change that language to shall surrender license to DDS or provide proof, which is what you'll end up doing. Okay, you have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you want to use your habeas rights. Do you remember reading about habeas on the right sheet there?
I did, yes.
And you remember me talking about it earlier?
Yes.
All right, do you need anything else from me, Mr. Clay, before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Phillips can walk you out those double doors. All right, Henley?
Keith first, Judge.
Okay, sorry. You told me that. There it is. Sure. All right, Keith? All right, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
David Allen Keith.
Mr. Key, you are here on 22 SR 1874, and according to my calendar and my memory, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No, sir.
Mr. Key, your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant pay rights waiver. Do you recognize this document as the written version of those rights?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1
Yes, sir.
and page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
An opportunity to ask your attorney any questions you have about it?
Yes, sir.
Because you understood everything that's on it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Key, have you had a chance to ask your attorney all the questions you have about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job they've done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Key, do you have any other questions for me about this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I pin it to your attorney?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Malloy, do you stipulate that there is a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this violation of a family violence order plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to enter your guilty plea to, is this violation of a family violence order?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find with Mr. Malloy's stipulations to the factual basis, combined with Mr. Key's request to enter a guilty plea, that there's enough for me to take this plea. I'm going to find that Mr. Key is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently both waiving his rights and affirmatively entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'm going to follow it as Mr. Malloy has negotiated. Mr. Malloy, the floor is yours.
Your Honor, just for the court's information, when we did the calendar call, there was a subpoenaed witness here, and that was Ms. Craig, who was
Oh,
the victim. So she related some information to the solicitor, and that's why we have the no violent contact. They have a child together.
Yes, sir.
So that's the relationship here, Judge, and he's going to be.
And that's you, ma'am? You're Mrs. Craig?
Yes,
Okay. So just for record purposes, Ms. Craig is present during
Okay,
this
I didn't know
plea.
she still was here.
Well, I saw her looking around her shoulder, so I just want to put on the record that she's here. So, Ms. Craig, you're okay with all this?
I'm sorry?
You're okay with all this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you very much, Ms. Craig. All right, Mr. Moore, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Key, any questions before I sentence?
No, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. David Key, 22 SR 1874, count 1, violation of a family violence order, and finds you guilty. It's 12 months, $590 is your fine. You can work off your fine with community service work. You remember me talking about that earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you shall obtain or show your valid license to probation. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee. You shall also pay one $50 restitution payment to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. No violent contact with Ms. Craig, who is present, and that's the sentence of the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you remember me talking about habeas earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you remember reading about it on the back of the right sheet, right there where I'm pointing?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you need anything else from me before we part ways?
No, sir.
Mr. Moore, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Key, I'm gonna send you out with Mr. Williams here. He's going to walk you back and meet with probation. I appreciate y'all having them go to fill out the probation acknowledgement form. So, okay, thank you.
Phillips, you know.
All right, Mr. Phillips, come on up.
That's what go with.
Let's see, we don't normally do that up front, but we had a minute today, so we went ahead and did it. All right, you are D.L. Phillips.
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down. State your full name for me.
D.L. Phillips.
Mr. Phillips, your case is 21 SR 2251, and according to my calendar, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No.
Mr. Phillips, your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights from earlier?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, it is.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
Because and ask your attorney any questions you have about it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything on the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you had all the time that you need to speak to your attorney about everything about your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job Mr. Malloy has done on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
That by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You want to close your case today with this plea?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that means there's not going to be a trial?
Right.
Perfect. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I pivot to Mr. Malloy?
We're coming to.
Okay. Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Malloy, do you stipulate that there's a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this theft by deception guilty plea?
Yes, Your Honor. This
Oh,
will
it's
be,
best interest.
this will be a best interest. Your Honor.
Not bad. All right. So, that was my bad. It's right there. So do you, so Mr. Phillips, the wording that I've got to ask you is, your attorney has stipulated to the point of a best interest plea. Do you wish to enter a guilty plea as a best interest plea, meaning that you're not admitting that you did the event, you're simply acknowledging that the case against you is such that you believe it is in your best interest to enter this guilty plea? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna accept it then. So, perfect. So, I'm going to find that the best interest plea is properly being given to me, and I'm going to grant it. I'm gonna find that he is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, I'm gonna follow it. Mr. Malloy, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Phillips, any questions?
Yeah, just one.
Right, that's, he's going to announce that in just a second.
Okay, got it.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. D.L. Phillips, 21 SR 2251, count 1, theft by deception. The best interest plea is granted. It's
Okay.
guilty, 12 months, $300 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work, and there will be a $50 per month supervision fee. Show your valid license to probation, no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products, you'll be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, and a one-time $50 payment of restitution to Spalding County to offset the cost of your attorney. Now, the moment you have checked your boxes, all of your boxes, your case will close.
Okay.
You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 12 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights.
He wants to know the check boxes, what he needs to check off, Judge.
Oh, okay, I can just do it again. So it's $300 fine, valid driver's license, one $50 supervision fee payment, one $50 restitution payment. And if probation decides they need to drug test you, they may do that once, but that's in their discretion.
Okay.
They don't traditionally do it unless something gets their attention.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anything from you that gets my attention, but I'm not gonna overrule them, that's their call.
I got you.
Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure once all that is done, then I'm off probation.
You could potentially do all of this today. I'll let you work that out with probation.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. You may step out those double doors.
Now we can.
Oh, Clint, I did that. Who's next?
Henley, Your Honor, because
All
we
right.
got multiple cases. So that's why.
Henley, come on up.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Moore, can you step up here? I'm gonna have you sign. I'm not gonna sign. Put on the back here. I'm gonna sign it. And we'll attach it to these.
All right.
So I'm not gonna actually sign some.
Well, the speeding one, we can do just that's the speeding case, so we do that in separate. I don't really want to go there, I really for simple battery, things.
I'm gonna actually see these off. Let's do that one first. 77, 78, 79.
That's why I did two separate sheets.
This is brilliant. As soon as I saw you did that, I was like, yeah, that's great. All right, very careful.
Yes, sir.
All right, so, Mr. Henley, basically what we're gonna do is basically two sets. One plea of your speeding case, which I'm actually gonna sentence you on and close.
Yes, sir.
And then we're gonna do the second set with the three cases that I'm gonna accept your plea on, but I'm not gonna sentence you. I'm gonna let you then go participate in the accountability court.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that your understanding?
So, yes, sir.
All right, please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So, yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
My name is Antoine Henry.
All right, and Mr. Henley, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this next set of questions applies to all of your cases.
Yes,
You
sir.
ready?
Yes, sir.
You were on time for court today, is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights? No? Okay. Your attorney has passed up to me two attorney and defendant plea rights waivers. This one has 21 TK 1804 at the top, and the other one, which is identical, has 22 SR 1477, 78, and 79 at the top. This next set of questions applies to all four cases, okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
And again, this is the TK case. Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
page 2,
Yes, sir.
and is this your signature?
Sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it,
Yes, sir.
and that you had a chance to ask Mr. Malloy any questions you had about it,
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
And are there any questions I can answer for you about any of these rights or anything on the attorney and defendant plea rights waiver?
I'm sorry. I mean, I got a question though.
All right.
I'm set for vacation tomorrow. I mean, I can't go out of town. Like, I mean, I'm set to go to New York tomorrow, and I'm trying to see, will it stop my process?
I'm not seeing that as an issue.
I'm just saying because I'm
That's a good
probation.
question. No, that's exactly the right kind of questions you should be asking. I'm not seeing that as an issue.
Okay,
So, because you're gonna go meet with probation, on your ticket case.
Yes, sir.
But again, I think you're gonna be okay here.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure.
No, and that's exactly the right question to ask. So good job on that. All right, and then last set of questions. I'm holding up the other attorney defendant plea rights waiver. Are your answers the same on this one that they were on the one I reviewed with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Mr. Henley, have you had enough time to speak with your attorney about all four of your cases?
So, yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job Mr. Malloy's done on your behalf on all four cases?
So, yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial on all four cases?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering these pleas, there will be no trials, and that all four of these cases will end up closed one way or the other?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions for me about this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I pivot to your attorney with my next set of questions?
My question, like, I got a kid by Jaquan Fram Road, and I wanna, I mean, cause it said I can't come to her house, so, I mean, how we gonna do, I don't understand how we gonna do that. That's the only thing I'm not understanding.
What are
Was
the,
was it marked as no contact or no violent contact?
it's marked as no violent
Okay,
contact.
okay, no, never mind.
But I'm not about to sentence on those.
That's
I'm
okay.
realizing that's a procedural thing we haven't encountered yet.
Yeah, I had not thought about that either, Judge.
So,
When he enters accountability court, they do a bond modification. They routinely modify the bond coming in.
they do.
And so in that, the bond could be modified to reflect what's on the sentence.
Well, and 'cause that's what Leslie's gonna have these when she's working on the contract. And she's gonna attach copies of these to the contract. So I see no reason why Leslie and then subsequently Judge Essery wouldn't sign a bond mod. It's just not gonna be instantaneous.
Which gives him an incentive to get going quickly on the.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. So the short answer is your bond should be modified. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, is the answer to your question, but it's not gonna be modified instantaneously. It's gonna be part of the accountability court process. So if you want it, you gotta go get into the accountability court. We have a lot of folks who say they wanna go into the accountability court and then they just kind of disappear into the wind. So I'm sure that's not gonna be you. I can see it in your eyes that you're engaged and you're focused and you're asking great questions. So the short answer is, this can be fixed once you get into the accountability court, which, if you do everything right, you can get them within the next 30 days.
Okay, thanks, sir.
That's a great question as well. You've asked two great questions, so keep up the good work. Anything else?
I'm not, because she be asking me to come out there and sit with the kids sometimes, and that's why I was asking questions. I'm like, no, because
Yeah,
I don't want to get no.
We're gonna get that fixed.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Malloy, starting with 21 TK 1804, do you stipulate that there's a sufficient factual basis for me to take this speeding 61 and a 35 plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sentence on this one, close this one out, and then pivot to the others.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Henley, any questions before I sentence you on this case?
No, sir.
All right, Jamonte Henley, 21 TK 1804, count one, speeding 61 and 35. I'm gonna find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, $742.50 is your fine. You may work that off with community service work, and there will be a $50 per month supervision fee. Show your valid license to probation, and the moment you've satisfied your obligations on this case, then this case will terminate and close. So you're only on probation with this case as long as it takes you to get this case closed, okay?
Okay, so what you're saying is once I pay it, it'll be closed?
This case.
Okay.
That's right, I'm just being very careful.
Okay.
All right, now, we're gonna pivot to your accountability court cases now. So now we're discussing 22 SR 1477, 1478, and 1479. Here's how these cases are gonna work. I'm gonna do the same process with asking your attorney if he stipulates to the factual basis. And then I'm gonna pivot back to you to ask you if you wanna enter guilty pleas, but I will not be sentencing you today. All right, so Mr. Malloy, starting with 22 SR 1477, do you stipulate that there's a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this simple battery under the Family Violence Act guilty plea?
Yes, Your Honor. And just a question, in lieu of the fact that this is going to accountability court, I did not do the.
No, because I'm not gonna sentence him.
Okay.
And so the firearm rights, unless he's already lost them from some other,
Okay.
will not apply.
Okay.
It might be the bond conditions, but it's not gonna be that.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for that. All right, so Mr. Henley, do you wish to enter a guilty plea to this simple battery family violence charge under 22 SR 1477?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to 22 SR 1478, Mr. Malloy, do you stipulate there's sufficient factual basis for me to take this criminal trespass plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to enter a guilty plea to that criminal trespass charge, Mr. Henley?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then last charge, 22 SR 1479, Mr. Malloy, do you stipulate to the simple battery, not a family violence charge?
Your Honor, in this case, this would be an offer plea on that one.
Happy to accept it. Mr. Henley, on this last case, do you wish to enter a guilty plea on this simple battery because you believe it is in your best interest to do so?
Yes, sir.
All right, that sounds fine. I'm going to find with Mr. Malloy's stipulations on on each of the three cases, combined with Mr. Henley's request to enter the guilty pleas on each of the three cases, that he is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently both waiving his rights and affirmatively entering the pleas. I've reviewed the recommendations across all three cases, and if the time comes for me to sentence, and I have to do that, I will follow the sentences exactly as they have been negotiated. However, this is going to be a accountability court plea, which means that when you successfully complete the accountability court process, you will then be allowed to withdraw these pleas pursuant to the negotiations, and I will then grant a dismissal, or Judge Esri will grant a dismissal on your three cases. Do you understand that?
I understand, sir.
However, if you fail to complete it, then we don't come back for trial. We simply come back to me, and I sentence you according to these terms that are on this document.
Yes, sir.
All right, so, Mr. Malloy, do you waive the right to withdraw this plea on your client's behalf? And then I'll ask Mr. Henley the same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Henley, do you waive the right to withdraw the plea on these three charges in this matter?
Yes, sir.
All right, because that's something we have to officially waive. So you may not withdraw this plea. You now are going to the accountability court. If for some reason you do not finish it, I will simply sentence you. I'm going to note for the record that you have signed each of the three final dispositions. Mr. Malloy has signed the three. I have not signed the three because it's not officially a sentence of the court. A copy of these will be filed with the clerk. You are going to sign a reset notice for about 60 days out for May. This will be attached to it, and then Ms. Leslie can get a copy of these off the Odyssey portal. All right, so this is only about the fourth of these we've done this way. So anybody, did I miss anything that anybody needs me to address?
We need to set him down for a hearing
Yes,
date.
Erica's resetting this to May. We'll just leave it on the trial calendar and I'll just send it some, that way they'll keep our Thursdays free. Yes, so so those three will be, the originals will be scanned in with the reset notice. So that's one packet to show that it's an accountability court reset. All right, Mr. Malloy, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, any questions, Mr. Henley?
No, sir.
Your next step is to reach out to Leslie Hafford, accountability court coordinator, and get that process started. Okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
And I spoke to Ms. Heffernan earlier about another case. They will be in the office this afternoon after 1 o'clock, meeting with folks about that, so it's good today.
Great, we're looking forward. We're very proud of our program. We think it's going to do well for you, okay?
I really do thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So just grab a seat, wait for the bailiffs. They'll give you your next set of instructions, give you a copy, and have you sign the reset notice.
Last case, Your Honor, is the one you see there. That's Ms. Lemon. She was from yesterday's calendar. She did come in today.
All right, Ms. Lemons is a null plus, and I've signed it. And so she's free to go. And then, so the only thing left is for you, Mr. Henley, to sign that reset. And that's it for you, right?
The case, she just signed the case. She dismissed. You're free to go.
You're free to go. Yes.
David Thomas, that's Mr. Bowles' case, I was upstairs, he
yes.
hasn't popped out. I would just, at this point announce, we need to ask for a continuance, to be able to do a little more research into it. It's the first time it's been on the calendar.
I can give you it.
I don't want to continue it, but I know you're gonna, it's the first one, so I know you're gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see is how much you're around.
See where the sentence goes. Yeah, it says it's in the James Bowles and then resent it to James D. Bowles.
Yeah, that's fine. This is your one continuous.
One time.
That's it. So I've adopted the Henry County method. It should feel familiar to you. So,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Good to see you, Mr. Moody. You'll sign a reset notice on behalf of your client. And we'll try this at whatever the next one is. All right, Mr. Hutchinson, fill me in.
Okay, as far as Patrick Leaks, Your Honor, I've asked for continuance. The state didn't object, and I went ahead and it is the first time it's on the calendar. And so I've already got a reset signed, and my client, I excused him. I apologize if I stepped out of bounds on that, Judge.
No, sounds like
Okay.
Y'all know my policy is if it's the first time up and either side gets a request, gets a continuance, and then we'll try it the next calendar. I just don't want them popping through many calendars, but we don't generally have that as an issue.
No, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna put defense reset. Got it.
Yes, sir. All right. Ms. Crosby is present. She's already filled out plea paperwork and she's filled out the probation paperwork. We're ready for that plea whenever the court's ready for it.
All right.
Robert Allen Vandiver is present in the courtroom. He wants to talk to somebody in the accountability court. And I think that was the one that Patrick referenced earlier about that they were coming back at 1. Is that what you told me, Patrick?
Yes, Leslie said she'd be back in at 1.
Do we need to send him down there, or are they coming up here?
They're going down there.
They're going down there.
There you go.
So, I mean, I could just have him, I guess you just need to know before he decides to do the plea or whatnot,
Yes, sir.
if he can get into the program. Is that what I'm catching?
Yes, sir.
This case has already been continued.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
and I'm not asking for a continuance,
I
Judge.
thought that. So the short answer is, I'm gonna leave it on the calendar, I'm gonna leave negotiations open.
Thank you.
I don't wanna wait though until trial, so if he gets the all clear from Leslie, I would like him to come back in. We can do it tomorrow morning, if y'all are available to do you just saw Mr. Henley, we could do that type of plea.
Yes,
Get
sir.
him over in there, if Leslie gives him the all clear today. I just don't want it kinda hanging out there, so.
Okay.
So let's do that.
How about we just plan it for tomorrow morning?
Yeah,
and
so
I'll
he'll go see Leslie this afternoon, and then I'll expect him to come back tomorrow morning to make an announcement of this is what we're gonna do. All right?
See?
All right, so you're free to go, have a good lunch, follow your attorney's instructions, and, otherwise I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Do you know where the accountability court thing is? Let me talk to him
Yeah.
and give him directions,
All right,
Judge.
Ms. Crosby's the only other one, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Crosby, you can come on up to the podium while he's talking. I'm not gonna talk to you until Mr. Hudson gets back. Mr. Shepherd, I did continue one case.
Hoffman?
Yes, it turns out he has 2 new cases. He has a new felony and he has a new case with us, and I simply arraigned him on the new case. Because he wanted the public defender's office on both. And so I was kind of like, well, that's fine. And he went ahead and met with Chastity and left out after talking to her. So I didn't hear back, so I assume it's in hand. So not ideal, but just thought I'd say out loud that we got forward momentum on it. I arraigned him, put both cases together, and he's got the felony meth. He has a meth case pending upstairs. So, Ms. Crosby, while we're waiting, I'm gonna pass this down to you. Oh, you already got it? It doesn't mean she doesn't have it, it just means I don't have it.
Do we need this?
I think I'll fill it out again. I'm not sure. I'll do something out there.
Well, don't, if you've already filled it out, I bet Mr. Hudson has it in that
That's what I'm
section.
telling you. I don't know. I
Yeah, I gave him one.
Then we're great.
Okay,
I
he
don't
gave
need-
you,
don't do
yeah.
that.
Mr. Hutchinson has it.
Yeah, they got it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That sounds great. Just had a minute, so.
I know, okay. Oh, yeah.
Um, let's see. I forgot, what did we do it right? This Dutton's one.
I just got to get turned off.
Okay. I just-
Yes, that was the victim was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize, Judge. I'm a little,
Yeah, that's okay. Did she already fill out that probation acknowledgement form?
Yeah, I think it's all right
She
there.
thought she had.
oh, sorry. Yeah.
I just wanted to make certain that we didn't have her fill it out twice, that's all. Just be careful. I just was gonna put it with the rest of the paperwork.
All right.
Okay.
The other two.
All right, Ms. Crosby, if you will step over to the microphone and raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm testimony about to give this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Richards, moving that mic around there for you. If you lean into it, say your full name for me. What's your full name, ma'am?
Meredith Lee Crosby.
All right. Ms. Crosby, you are here on 22 SR 0439, and according to my records, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No, sir.
Your attorney has passed up to me this attorney and defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and can I do yeses or no's?
Yes, sir.
That's okay. And having an opportunity to ask Mr. Hudson any questions you may have about it?
I've done so.
All right. And did you understand everything on this document?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Crosby, do you understand that you have, all right, have you had an opportunity to speak with your attorney fully about all aspects of your case?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the job he's done on your behalf?
Definitely, extremely.
All right. And do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and the case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Definitely.
All right. Do you have any other questions for me before I pivot to Mr. Hutchison with my next set of questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Hudson, do you stipulate on 22 SR 0439 that there's a sufficient factual basis for me to accept this DUI plea?
I do, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to enter a guilty plea to, Ms. Crosby, is this DUI charge?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find with Mr. Hutchison's stipulations combined with Ms. Crosby's request to enter a guilty plea that there's enough for me to take this plea. I'm going to find that she is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving her rights and affirmatively entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it as it's been negotiated. Mr. Hudson, the floor is yours.
Your Honor, just briefly, I've had a good opportunity to talk to Meredith today. She seems like she's just a sweet lady. But there is a history as far as DUIs. She's had a son pass away from an overdose and things of that nature. So there's some justification, mitigation, whatever you want to call it, Judge, as far as why she has picked up DUIs. She is the one that I presented the THC, the low dose THC card to the court, and I would ask the court to fashion something to allow her to continue to take those medications. This case is based upon some prescription medications, not alcohol, but that at the time they were needed medically. She's told me that she's no longer taking a lot of those medicines that she once was on, and that she's now doing that low dose THC, and that has given her a significant, basically it's given her life back. That most of those pharmaceuticals was, I think she used the words, made her a geriatric, and so she's not that bad anymore. So, but she's a sweet lady. I don't think that you're going to see her again, Judge. She understands what she's doing. As she is on disability, Your Honor, and she does take care of her mother. And so she's the sole caretaker for her mother. She understands her license is going to be suspended today. She understands that the court, upon my request, and I'm requesting it, so asking for a affidavit of first offense. But she does realize that her license is going to be suspended today.
Okay. So a couple of points just to follow up. Number one, we've had some bad experiences with the low dose THC. Our solution to it is this. Follow me.
Okay.
So what we're going to...
Can I come closer to you?
How about I lean into the mic a little
Okay,
bit?
no, I like eye contact.
Oh, okay. How about this? You may use the medications as prescribed.
Mm-hmm.
Low dose THC means low dose results for drug testing. Meaning if you have a high result, then I'm going to probably interpret that as you abusing your THC privileges, and I will revoke them. Not from the state, but from the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I need to find that information out because new information I'm getting.
Yes, so if
So-
you use your medication appropriately, you should have no issues with
Okay,
me
because
whatsoever.
the numbers are new to me.
Yeah, that's all right, and I don't think this is gonna be an issue. It's my job to say difficult things like that.
Okay, I understand, I comply.
All right, and then the other issue, not the other issue, the other thing to let you know is as far as the license go, what we've been doing since COVID, and frankly, we never pivoted back, and it seems to be working, is we stopped passing so much paper around. The way I do it now is we report it to DES within 48 hours. DES will send you to your address, which I assume is the correct address on your
Oh,
license.
yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
They're gonna mail it within a week to you saying your license is suspended, and then it's your responsibility to hightail it down to DES and get that swapped out and fixed. So I don't take your license anymore, we don't mail it in. That frankly has streamlined our court, and it seems to be working well. It just pushes back the suspension about, 48 hours,
That's
and
fine.
nobody seems to care. So if that's a major issue, let us know, but otherwise I think you'll be all right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, then here we go. Ms. Crosby, are you ready for me to sentence?
Yes, sir.
All right, Meredith Crosby, 22 SR 0439, count 1 DUI. We'll find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 1603 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work, and there will be a $50 per month supervision fee. If you are unable to pay that $50 per month supervision fee, communicate that to your probation officers. They will review your finances, and they may recommend to me that may be waived. But that's your responsibility to start that conversation and to provide them with what they need. Show your valid license, probation, no alcohol, illegal drugs, nor hemp products. So that is things that are not prescribed.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be tested for those. And no high THC readings. I'm honestly not that worried about it. 40 hours of community service work and no less than 6 hours per week. Substance abuse evaluation within 60 days, and within 90 days, DUI school within 60 days. I'm going to put on line tape that you have a valid low THC oil card. And I'm just going to put low THC results are acceptable.
Thank you, Judge.
How about that? But we're still working our way through that, so I'm open for suggestions on that. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months, ma'am, if you want to use your habeas rights. Do you remember me talking about habeas earlier, Ms. Crosby?
Yes, sir.
It's that weird old law where you can sue Spalding County civilly. And do you remember reading about it on the right sheet where I'm pointing right there?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, ma'am, before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Crosby, best of luck to you. I'm certain that I will bump into you somewhere out in the community and not back in here. And I hope you tell me that you are doing well and that you are stable.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. You may step out those double doors.
Ms. Crosby, where do you get that THC? I'm just curious.
I am talked to Cora.
No, but how do you actually get it?
But she just, you get evaluated through Dr. Moore, my